Hello and welcome to the Reclaim Your Time, Boost Your Profit Livenar. I'm your host today, Dr. Sabrina Starling, and we will be getting started in just a moment. I want to give the stream the opportunity to go live, and for those of you who are getting notifications in your feed, giving you time to get here, and we will get started. So as we're waiting to start, I just want to invite you to be really active here in the comments as we go, particularly if I share anything that you connect with or relate to. I want to know about it. And the other thing that I'm really curious about that I want to throw out for you to hold as a powerful question is, assuming that I'm going to show you how to do this, and I will show you how to do this during today's webinar, how to reclaim a significant amount of time for you from your business. I'm really curious, what would you be doing with the time that you reclaim? So if you're able to reclaim, let's say 10 hours a week from your business, what would you be doing with that time? Would you be spending more time with your family? Would you be exercising? Would you be cooking healthier meals? What is that? So as you're joining, I would love if you would just post your name. Obviously that's going to show up in the comments, but share where you are in the country. And if you have 10 hours a week that you're able to reclaim from your business, what would you be doing with those 10 extra hours? So let's post those in the comments. And I really want to see the conversation get going here as we're going through the webinar. So again, for those of you just joining us, my name is Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm your host today for today's webinar, how to reclaim your time and boost your profit. So this webinar is based on my book, The 4-Week Vacation, the Entrepreneur's Ultimate Guide to Taking Your Life Back from Your Business. And I have been on a mission for the last 16 years in my own business to reclaim my time. And what I've always been trying to figure out is, as you have a growing business, what are the pieces that you put in place, and in what order do you put them in place so that you can have a business that gives you time for what matters most, but also is profitable and that grows? And that's what I'm bringing here to share with you today. It's the Tap the Potential solution. And we're going to be focusing on the first two steps in the Tap the Potential solution, which are the most significant in respect to boosting the profit in your business and also reclaiming your time. So as we get started, again, post in the comments, if you could reclaim 10 hours a week from your business, what would you be doing with those 10 hours? And for those of you who don't have your workbook yet, you're going to want to have your workbook as we go along. You can go to tapthepotential.com/Livenar and grab a copy of your workbook. So as we get started, you've probably noticed I have a lot of passion and enthusiasm for entrepreneurship. And I want to share a little bit with you about why I'm so passionate, not only about entrepreneurship. I'm a maximizer at heart. So I love growth and opportunity. I've named my business Tap the Potential because I know there's so much potential that exists within us as individuals, as entrepreneurs, to really impact the world and create opportunities for others. And I also know there's potential for us when we are living a high quality of life. And that's what we are diving into today. And I want to share with you why that's so important to me. So we're going to go back to a little bit about my childhood here. This is a picture of me with my father. And you can look at this picture and tell we were on a family vacation, and we're supposed to be having fun. But if you look at my dad, he looks a little preoccupied. And as a child, I would watch my dad scarf down his food and rush out the door. And my mom explains to me, Sabrina, your dad never got to eat a relaxed meal as a kid. He always ate on the go out of the concession stand, nachos, hot dogs, soda pop, popcorn. That was his diet as a kid. You see, back then, everything revolved around the drive-in movie theaters. It's the early 1950s. Elvis booms from the speakers. It's the day of muscle cars. And my grandpa, Slim Starling, an oil man and entrepreneur, chases growth and opportunity. And he actually got into the drive-in movie theater business by accident. In an attempt to sell more gasoline, he puts up a big screen on the back of roof of one of his filling stations, and he gives purchasers of 5 gallons of gas a free ticket to the show. The idea clicks, cars come in droves, and the filling station attendants can't even get to the pumps. Gas sales are booming because of the many cars on the lot, and no one, not even my dad as a young child, gets away with playing. There is work to be done. The successful business ran their lives, and the legacy that was passed down in my family is get your work done before you play, work hard. There is always more work to be done. And the underlying message was that life supports work. And I'm curious if any of you can relate to that. And the question that I'm bringing here for us to consider today is, would you trade your life for your business? I know it's a crazy question, isn't it? And on the surface, most of us would immediately say, well, no. Yet this is the non-conscious choice my grandparents made. And I know my grandpa Slim, he believed he was making an investment for their future through all that hard work in the business. And like my grandpa Slim, we're faced with this choice every day in our own businesses. We choose to trade our lives for our businesses every time we choose to work late, skip meals, shortchange sleep, skip exercise, forego time with our loved ones, all for the sake of investing in our futures through the business. And this is why I'm so passionate about this. You see, my dad was not an entrepreneur, yet he suffers from the legacy of traditional entrepreneurship, hustle culture, grind it out. And that legacy, grind it out, pursue all the opportunities, is a destructive one. And it's been passed down through 3 generations in my family. And what does it look like in my life? Well, I learned we work before we play, which sounds great, right? It's a great work ethic, except the work is never done. In my 30s, I am a hot mess of anxiety and I'm looking for help. And so I decide I'm going to sign up for a yoga class because I heard that brings peace and relaxation. So it's in this yoga class that I learn there are spaces between breaths. The pause. There's a pause in life. And to this point, I have been rushing through the pauses, rushing because there's more work to be done. And ironically, when I get pregnant with my first daughter, I quit my full-time job and decide I'm going to go into business for myself so that I can have a better work-life balance. Now, those of you here listening to this, I know you're familiar with entrepreneurship, and I know you're picking up on the flaw in that thinking. Having a newborn baby and starting a business all at the same time, thinking that's going to give me work-life balance. That was crazy. And I remember she was just a few months old, and one night I was rocking her to sleep by the light of the moon, and it streaming through the window. I was reading a book, and it was the EMyth by Michael Gerber. So I'm rocking her and I'm reading this entrepreneurial classic, the EMyth. And in that moment, as I'm reading the EMyth, I realized I'm like most of us, I'm doing it all wrong. That hard work does not lead to success as an entrepreneur. Grinding it out is grinding us up. And I'm guessing that you might be able to relate to this. And when I say that grinding it out is grinding us up, I want to share a little bit with you about the research that I've been doing on the state of entrepreneurship over the last couple of years. So at Tap the Potential, we've had the honor to survey over 225 entrepreneurs who've shared their experience of entrepreneurship with us. And one of the most shocking findings is that almost 9 out of 10 of us are at risk for entrepreneurial burnout. 9 out of 10 of us. Other research shows that we entrepreneurs are almost 2 times as likely as the general population to experience depression. Our rates of addiction are 70% higher than the general population, and we are 4 to 5 times more likely to get divorced than the general population. Grinding it out is grinding us up. And yet, while all of this is going on, we entrepreneurs are responsible for 2/3 of net new jobs that are created and 44% of US economic activity. And I can't help but wonder, how much more could we be producing and creating? How much more opportunity if we, as the entrepreneur, get to thrive, if we are not burnt out and hanging in by a thread? And that is why I believe work has to support life, not the other way around. And I am really excited for myself, for the entrepreneurs that we coach in our Better Business, Better Life program at Tap the Potential, and for you as you start to embrace what's really possible for yourself when you become clear that you're going to be successful in your business and work is going to support life, not the other way around. Those two can exist hand in hand. We don't have to grind it out. So I want to also share with you a funny little side note about my own experience. And that is, when my daughter was about 5 years old, I actually got to meet Michael Kerber at a conference, and he would sign our books, and we got to ask him a question as he was signing our books. I was standing in line and I was thinking, what question am I going to ask him? And I finally landed on asking him that question that I had been carrying with me, which was so perplexing to me because back then I was coaching entrepreneurs. I was coaching them on how to hire A players, how to grow a team, how to put systems in place, how to get out of the day-to-day of their own business. And yet I, the coach, was fully immersed in my own business doing all the coaching. And I couldn't figure out, how do I go from doing it all in my business to developing a repeatable, scalable business model that doesn't depend on me doing it all? And so that's the question that I asked him. And his reply is burned in my mind. I'll never forget it. He looked at me and he says, "My dear, I own a coaching company and I have never coached a day in my life." Now, I'm not going to lie, in the moment, that answer really pisses me off. I felt like, oh, he's not telling me anything, but yet as I reflect on it, he's telling me everything. Not only do I have to think differently about my role in the business, my very being as the leader in this business has to shift and it has to change. And I came away from that experience determined that I was going to figure out how to get myself out of doing the doing in the business and really grow that sustainable business. But at the same time, I was coaching all these business owners and trying to help them with this same issue. And one question that kept coming up over and over is, Sabrina, what do we do first? And I wonder if you relate to this, where you start working on one thing in your business and you make some progress and headway on it, but then something else over here gets your attention, like something goes wrong over here, and you're like, oh, we have this system over here, we better fix this. And so your attention gets pulled away and you never get back to finishing what you were doing over here. And then before you know it, something else happens and you feel like you're running around just playing the whack-a-mole game, you're treading, and nothing ever gets better. And so I was having that own experience in my business. And I have worked with not hundreds of coaches, but lots of coaches over the years, getting coaching myself in different training programs. And I wasn't finding good solutions. And the things that I really was struggling with were profitability, how to budget for growth, how to hire, how to put systems in place, and which systems to work on that would have the greatest impact. And I was taking my clients through this too. And what I've discovered after reading all kinds of business books, I mean, there's so many business books out there, and some of them are really good and very helpful strategy, but no one had put together a comprehensive step-by-step solution of how do you grow a sustainably profitable business that gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. Because that's what I was after. I have always run my business on about 25 hours a week, and it has grown steadily year after year, except for COVID. That was a bit of a setback, but steadily year after year, all these years. And I've done it on 25 hours a week. And so I always had to be highly efficient and highly focused. And anything that I did and Tap the Potential to help it grow, it couldn't be time consuming because I just didn't have the time. And that's what I want to share with you today is how I've built the Tap the Potential solution, because it is the guaranteed path to how to design a sustainably profitable business that gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. Learning how to hire, how to put systems in place, how to do all of that and do it profitably is not easy. And yet, what I've discovered through taking lots of our clients now through the Tap the Potential solution is this step-by-step path works. It is the guaranteed path. And not only does it work, we now have research where we know those business owners who are not experiencing burnout, they're doing some things differently than the 9 out of 10 who are. So 1 out of 10 business owners that we surveyed is not experiencing burnout. And I got very curious and I looked at what are they doing differently than the ones who are experiencing burnout. And the differences, the things they're doing differently, follow the Tap the Potential solution. So in your workbook, you have this diagram of the Tap the Potential solution. I know on the screen here, it's very small and hard to see. If you don't have a workbook, remember, go to tapthepotential.com/Livenar and you'll get a copy of the workbook. The Tap the Potential solution is on page 3 of your workbook. And we're going to come back to it in a moment, and I'm going to take you in depth through steps 1 and 2 of the Tap the Potential solution. But I want to hop over here and talk to you about the survival trap, because remember when I was talking to you about that experience of you start working on one thing in your business, and you get distracted and you go over here and you work on the next thing, and nothing ever feels like it's getting better. You kind of feel like you're just treading water. And like you might be growing the revenue of your business and you might be thinking, well, at some point I'm going to get more time freedom. At some point things are just going to work out somehow magically and I'll have a better quality of life. But yet that never happens. And it's all because of the survival trap. The survival trap explains all of this and explains it so beautifully. So when you look at the survival trap image, and by the way, this also is in your workbook, it's on page 9. So when you look at the survival trap image, you notice that there's a circle to the left side, and that represents our current moment in time. And then on the right side, there's a star, and it represents your vision. And our vision is what we want to accomplish. Now, there's some interesting things about us entrepreneurs. One of the things that I found is most of us do not have a clear vision of what we want to accomplish. We may have ideas about what we want our business to look like, but rarely have we given consideration to how we want to experience our life as our business grows. And so that's a great opportunity to step into here for yourself, is just to start thinking about what kind of quality of life do I want to have as my business grows. And designing a vision around a quality of life where you have more time for what matters most and your business can be sustainably profitable. So I'm going to invite you to just step into, that's the vision, that's the end point. And then you want to make sure that every decision and every choice that you make and every place that you choose to focus your time and energy directly aligns with that vision, because that's how, when you take those small steps forward and you do them in a consistent direction, they lead to big change over time. It's because you have this clearly defined vision of what you're trying to accomplish. And so when you're faced with moment-to-moment choices, let's say that you're in a tight cash flow period in your business and a client comes along, they're not really in line with your client profile that you typically serve. They're sort of aligned, but they want to pay you a lot of money because they want a service that's a little bit different than what you typically offer, but they really need it. And so you're thinking, well, this could take a lot of time and energy, but it'll generate some cash. So I'm going to go ahead and take this client on. Well, what happens is it looks like it's sort of aligned with your vision and your sweet spot. But if you follow that choice out over time, you see that thick red line there, that arrow, that's a very dangerous choice because over the trajectory of time, it takes you very far off the mark of where you're wanting to head. And again, that's why we stay on that treadmill and it feels like we're just in this survival trap of our businesses. So we want to have a clear picture of where we're headed. And the Tap the Potential solution is the destination, the guaranteed path to that business that is sustainably profitable, that gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And that's one of the ways that we at Tap the Potential are very different than a number of coaching and training companies that are out there. A lot of them are focused solely on growing the revenue rather than looking at profitability. And that's where we're headed next. That is step one in the Tap the Potential solution. So I put the Tap the Potential solution here on the screen just as a reminder of the outcome and where we're headed. So let me put the diagram back up. Okay, and we're going to zoom in on step one, which is to design your business to be sustainably profitable. So let's think about this for a minute, because I know it's tempting to have that hip new office space and free beverages and snacks in the waiting area. And you want to have lots of employees and millions in revenue coming in because we've been led to believe those are the status symbols of entrepreneurial success. Or are they? I'm reminded of when I was a little girl. My parents scrimped and saved to send me to private school, and they dropped me off every day in our old pickup truck, or worse, our powder blue Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, which when that became my first car, my friends nicknamed the boat. And every day in the car drop-off line at school, I would cringe because my peers were being dropped off in these sleek brand new Mercedes and BMWs. They wore shirts with alligators on them. And when I told my mother I needed one of those, she brought me to the store and got me a shirt with a dragon on it. Close enough, right? No, I was teased and shunned by my peers at schools, and I would come home and I would complain loudly to my parents at the dinner table about their shortcomings with respect to their choices in cars and clothing. And that's when I learned a life lesson that has stuck with me to this day. See, my father was a banker, and most of his customers were small business owners, and they were in debt. And he informed me that it's possible to drive a brand new BMW or Mercedes, wear alligator shirts, and be drowning in debt. And in fact, he alluded to many of my parents' peers, or many of my peers' parents, being the very same ones that he would have to call month after month because they were behind on their loan payments. And now, I admit I didn't understand the full implications of being in debt at that time. It wasn't until I completed my PhD and I started making payments on my own student loans that I got it. Debt is crushing for us. It keeps us awake at night. And I was worrying constantly about how to pay my debt and pay my current bills. And so what I've learned as a business owner is that it's not about how much we make. It's about how much we keep. That's a very important awareness. Write that down. It's on page 4 as a fill in the blank in your workbook. And again, if you don't have your workbook, go to tapthepotential.com/Livenar and grab a copy. So it's not about how much we make, it's about how much we keep. Write that down. So I've had a number of business coaches over the years. And like I said before, a lot of those coaching engagements start with asking, what are your revenue goals? Because most business coaches are focused on increasing revenue. At Tap the Potential, we're focused on increasing profit because it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. That's what really matters. And in fact, we've taken a lot of clients who have businesses that are successful, that are growing, that are bringing in a lot of revenue, and those clients are exhausted and worn out. And some of them have chosen to scale back their business. That's right. They've intentionally chosen to reduce revenue, reduce their team, reduce their office space, and focus more closely on building their business from the core of what is working best. And we call that the sweet spot. So by reducing payroll and rent, which are typically the biggest expenses in a business, they're finally able to pay themselves an appropriate salary and have profit in the business. They have more money in their bank account than ever and more time for what matters most, and their stress level drops immensely. And Dr. Nancy Tremblay is one of our very first clients who had this experience with us. And I want to share her story with you because it's so powerful. When she started with us, she was enduring extreme levels of stress. She was managing a bustling chiropractic practice across 2 locations and 40 employees. On a scale of 1 to 100, she said her stress level approached 100 most days at work. She said that they had experienced a major financial glitch in 2015 that led to a drop of a quarter of their revenue. And she, like I think most of us would do, was trying to keep everybody happy and well compensated for what they did. She said, I was trying to put my employees first. And I'm curious if any of you listening relate to that and recognize that in yourself. So what she did is she stopped paying herself. And she said, when we're on the hamster wheel, we don't have the mental capacity to stop and reflect. We're just going, going, going. She was in that survival trap mode. And she said, I was actually suffering a mental breakdown. I was having panic attacks, and I was just emotionally hanging by a thread. So she started working with us because she wanted to regain her sanity. So what she did is she closed her second location. And by doing that, she eliminated overhead and she cut down on the amount of necessary employees. This reduced her expenses by 2/3, allowing her to start paying herself again. So downsizing immediately expanded her health, her well-being, and her profitability. And in the meantime, her stress level dropped by 90%. It's amazing. Her business now gives her life instead of taking life away from her. And so this is what I want to really get us thinking about, is that how ironic it is that the traditional hustle culture in entrepreneurship would have us believe that success is based on how much we make, in other words, grow the revenue, how nice our office space is, in other words, get bigger and nicer space, and how many people we employ. In other words, grow our payroll. Yet these are the very same factors that prevent us from ever being profitable and being able to pay ourselves appropriately as the owner working in the business, not to mention the profit that we should be getting for the entrepreneurial risk that we bear. So it's time to think differently, and I invite you to embrace designing your business to be sustainably profitable as your most important. Like, that's how you make all your decisions. You filter asking yourself, is this a profitable decision? Is it sustainable? And I want to walk you through an exercise next that will help you identify the opportunity that exists right now within your business that you may not even be recognizing, that your business in its current state could be much more profitable than it actually is. You have profit potential in your business. The Tap the Potential solution allows you to tap into it. So I want to show you how to calculate the profit potential that exists within your business so that you can see what's possible and what you may be overlooking. So in your workbook on page 5, look at figure 1. And again, if you don't have a workbook, go to tapthepotential.com/Livenar and grab your copy. This is a figure that shows target allocation percentages. It's from the book Profit First. You can find your real revenue range on the top of the chart. And these figures are based on financially performing companies across industry. So this chart shows you the percentage that you should have for operating expenses, profit, owner's pay, and taxes. It's a very illuminating chart. And I briefly want to comment on what real revenue is. If you're in a business where you have very few cost of goods sold or subcontracted services like Tap the Potential, our real revenue is the same as our revenue that we bring in. But if you're in a business where there's a lot of cost of goods sold or you have subcontractors, you want to remove those out from the total revenue, subtract those, and then that gets you to your real revenue. And that's what you use in this chart. So for simplicity purposes, we're just going to focus on a business that's bringing in around 500,000 in revenue. And that lies between columns B and C in this chart. And so if you look at a business that's doing about 500,000 in real revenue and you look over at column B, for profit, you'll see that should be about 10% profit. Anywhere from 10 to 15% profit is what the chart shows. So that means that a $500,000 revenue business should be able to bring in $50,000 to $70,000 of profit every year. And then if you drop down and you look at owner's pay and you look between columns B and C, that's 20 to 35% of that $500,000 should be captured for owner's pay, which is anywhere from $100,000 to $175,000 owner's pay annually in the business. So when you add that together, the business could be paying the owner $200,000 to $225,000 annually through a combination of profit and owner's pay. So if your business was doing that for you, would you be okay with that? If you would, post yes in the chat. Like if you'd be fine with $200,000 to $225,000 annually coming out of your business to you as the owner through a combination of profit and owner's pay. That is the potential that exists within your business if you're doing about 500,000 in revenue. If you're doing more than that, you can look at the chart and see where you should fall. If you're doing less than 500,000 revenue, you can also use the chart to calculate. In our experience at Tap the Potential, every time we take entrepreneurs through calculating this, the majority of you are not hitting the profit potential in your business. And I want to walk you through why that is and how you can use the Tap the Potential solution to tap that profit potential in your business. So when we think about profit potential that exists within your business, it's potential that has not been captured yet. So we are privileged now that Profit First has been out as long as it has, and it's been publicized, and so many entrepreneurs know about it. So many of you have read the book, you've implemented Profit First either on your own or you've worked with a coach or an accountant or bookkeeper, and you've gotten the foundation of it in place. And what we see over and over is that even though you have Profit First in place, you're not hitting those target allocation percentages. So to hit the target allocation percentages and really tap that potential, you need to be running your business around a clearly defined sweet spot with a lean and mighty team of A players who are delivering high value to your top clients and customers. And those are the major components of the Tap the Potential solution. And so it's not sufficient to just implement Profit First as a standalone and think, I'm going to hit these target allocation percentages. You need to follow those next steps of the Tap the Potential solution. And I'm going to walk you through step 2 in just a minute, and you'll see why it's such a critical step. But before we go there, I just want you to wrap your head around, if we just focus on profit, not owner's pay, but just profit alone, what does 10% profit look like in your business? So if you're doing 100,000 revenue a year, $10,000 profit should be there. If you're doing $1 million in real revenue, you should have $100,000 per year of profit. 5 million, you should have 500,000 of profit year after year after year. That's amazing. So that's what it looks like. What does 10% profit in your business feel like? These are actual quotes from our clients who've hit 10% profit. And they've said, wow, I'm really doing this. My business is taking care of me for a change. Finally, I'm relaxed. I'm at ease. I'm confident. I believe in myself. And that feeling of, wow, it's still hard to believe this is happening. And so that's what I want you to wrap your head around, is how good this feels when you know you have Profit First, it's in place, and you're hitting those target allocation percentages. So we focused on step 1 in the Tap the Potential solution. So now we need to move to step 2, which is to niche down with a clearly defined sweet spot. The path to profit really is to simplify. And one of the crazy things that happens as we grow our business is when we're in the startup phase, we say yes to every opportunity that comes our way because we want to bring revenue in. That's part of that hustle culture. It's also part of that awareness of what got you here won't get you there. So if you continue doing that, it keeps you in the survival trap. So we really have to simplify the business. Once it starts growing, it's always that point of contraction to expand the profit. So this means niching down with a clearly defined sweet spot. And the path to profit is to simplify. That's a fill in the blank on page 6 in your workbook. And the other fill in the blank that's on that page is to be aware that profit is the reward for the entrepreneurial risk that you bear. Profit is your reward for the entrepreneurial risk that you bear. So let's zero in a little bit more closely now on the business sweet spot. And again, this is in your workbook. It's on page 8, because I know if you're watching this like on a phone, this is really tiny on your screen, so it's hard to see the slide. So be sure to take a look at that in your workbook. The sweet spot diagram comes from the book, The Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz. And your business sweet spot is your greatest opportunity for profit in your business. It's also your greatest opportunity to reclaim your time, because when you niche down around that clearly defined sweet spot, you let go of all the things that you've been saying yes to that actually take away from your profit. Right? Okay, so that's huge. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. I'm going to show you through a calculation how significant that is. But just for now, hold the awareness that your sweet spot holds the greatest opportunity for you to be profitable. Your sweet spot is the intersection of your top clients and your unique offering. Your unique offering is what you deliver to your top clients that they value the most. And what's interesting about any business is we all deliver and offer a variety of services and products, and there's only a small bit that our clients and customers are really paying attention to that they value the most, and we want to zero in on what that is. And we don't want to guess it, we want to know it, and we want to know it from our clients and customers, and that's very important. The third part of the sweet spot is the systems that we put in place to support the delivery of our unique offering to our top clients and customers. So that intersection in that Venn diagram, that orange spot, is the sweet spot. Now, one of the biggest signs that you can look at in your business to know whether or not you have a clearly defined sweet spot is whether or not you're experiencing price pressure. Particularly in this economy with inflation going up right now, a lot of you are having to raise your prices. And if you're getting pushback from your clients and customers about raising your prices, it's a sign that you have not clearly defined your sweet spot and you are not owning the value that you are delivering to your top clients and customers, much less articulating it clearly to them so they own the value. So if that's going on for you in your business where you're getting price pressure, it's a sign you need to define your sweet spot more closely. So I want to walk you through an exercise to show you what happens when you have a clearly defined sweet spot. At Tap the Potential, we utilize the 80-20 principle in all kinds of ways to simplify things for you in your business to free up your time and reclaim your profit. So one of the ways that we use the 80-20 principle is around the sweet spot of your business. So if your business is generating $1 million in revenue and we apply the 80-20 principle to it, 80% of your revenue is probably coming from 20% of your clients. So 20% of your clients would be responsible for $800,000 in revenue in this $1 million business. It also means that 80% of your clients, 80% are responsible for $200,000 of that revenue. So let's wrap our brains around that for a moment as we are on this, you're stepping off your treadmill here for a moment to recognize that maybe part of the reason you're on the treadmill is you're taking care of those 80% of those clients who are only responsible for a very small portion of the revenue coming in. And what would it be like to be at choice to drop 80% of your clients, right? And not only if you drop them, I want to show you how you can drop them and keep your revenue the same. All right. So your revenue isn't going to drop, but it's what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to be more profitable. So if you set a modest goal to increase your revenue by 25% from the top 20% of your clients, and you're going to do this by delivering additional value through the sweet spot of your business. So if you set a modest goal to increase the revenue by 25% from the top 20% of your clients, your business will generate an additional $200,000 in revenue annually for a total of $1 million. So that's right. Okay, let this sink into your head. The implications of this are significant if it's important to you to have more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account, because this allows you to be at choice to drop 80% of your clients. So you know those PITA clients, the ones who complain a lot, who are never satisfied, who pay late, who take up so much of your team's time and energy. Imagine being at choice to let them go without any negative impact to your revenue. And in fact, it actually makes you more profitable, right? Because by letting them go, you get to work less because you're now serving fewer clients. Moreover, the clients that you're working with are a joy to work with. They appreciate you and the value you deliver. You're freeing up your time, and this also creates the opportunity for you to serve your top clients better and better, because now you're going to increase what they're paying you by 25%, so you have to be serving them better and better. But it also allows you more time to replace those poor clients with clients who are more closely aligned with your top 20% clients. So because you're serving fewer clients, you don't need as many team members. Remember, payroll is typically the biggest expense in a business. And if you go through the latter steps of the Tap the Potential solution and you implement putting A players into the remaining roles in the business, and they're working from roles that align with their strengths, you're going to see a 900 to 1,200% increase in their productivity over what you see from warm body employees. That is huge. That has huge implications for your profit. And meanwhile, you have far fewer headaches and more time for what matters most, and you're running a business that is much more profitable. So this is why niching down with a clearly defined sweet spot is step 2 of the Tap the Potential solution. So if you were experiencing that, where you're letting go of the most difficult clients and customers, your business is much more streamlined with A players in place, you're working with your top clients and customers, you have the mental space to deliver high value to them, would that be a situation that would be good for you? Like, would that be okay for you to be in that place? And the best thing to understand about this is you don't have to drop 80% of your clients. That's not what I'm telling you to go do. I'm telling you, you can be a choice to drop them. So just that mental awareness when that client's giving you a hard time or that customer is complaining and constantly after your team and you can't, no matter what you do, you can't satisfy them, to be a choice in your head and say, you know what? I don't need their business. I will be kind and respectful of them, but I'm going to shift my focus and energy over here to taking care of my top clients and customers. And yes, you may choose to drop 80% of those clients. We have some business owners who've done that. We also have some who said, you know what, I just want to get my toe in the water. I'm going to drop 30% of my clients and customers to free up my time, my lowest paying clients and customers, to free up my time to focus on the ones who really value what we're doing and what we're doing from the sweet spot of the business. So one thing I want to comment on is many of you ask when we share this information, many of you ask, well, how do I do that 80-20 analysis in my business? So in your workbook on page 7, there are directions there where we walk you through how to do this 80-20 analysis in your business. And if you have any questions about it, Darren Hopman, our success team lead, is happy to get on a call with you and walk you through that. In just a moment, I'm going to show you how you can book a call with Darren. So just hang in there. So what I've shared with you so far today, I hope has inspired you with the awareness that you absolutely can reclaim your time, boost your profit, and ultimately take your life back from your business. And it's all about those small steps forward that we take in a consistent direction that lead to big change over time. So that consistent direction is your vision, that you're designing a sustainably profitable business that's going to give you time for what matters most and money in your bank account. And you're going to take those small steps forward that directly align towards that vision for you. And it happens in a relatively short period of time. So at the beginning of the call today, I said, think about what would it be like to reclaim 10 hours of your time? What would you be doing with that time? And so I think by going through this exercise, you've started to see, wow, that's not pie in the sky to reclaim time like that. That's absolutely possible. And not only is it possible, but you could do it in a way that your business is more profitable. And that's where we get excited, because that's really tapping that profit potential in your business. So I want you to just imagine for yourself that it's Sunday evening, you're spending time with your family as the day winds down, and you're feeling relaxed and peaceful. You know, whatever happens on Monday is going to be handled, not necessarily by you, but by your team. So no more sleepless Sundays. And you've been taking Fridays off in your business and Saturdays and Sundays, and you're more relaxed than you've ever been. In just a couple of weeks, you have a 2-week vacation planned, and you're going to be fully unplugged. Your team is going to handle things in your absence. You're not going to be checking email, responding to texts. You're going to be fully present and enjoying your life. How would that be? Just imagine that for yourself and hold that possibility, because this is an outcome that our clients experience with us in the Better Business, Better Life program, using these strategies, some of these strategies that I've shared with you today. There's so many more that I have to teach you. And so that's why I want to extend to you. If you want to take what you've started to, the insights that I've been sharing here with you, and you're starting to see what's possible, and you really want to build on that, I want to invite you to consider joining us in our Better Business, Better Life program at Tap the Potential. And as you look at that for yourself, I just want to share with you, when we look at our clients over time as a whole, what are some of the major outcomes they've experienced in working with us? Number one, the biggest experience, I think, is letting go of that feeling of sleepless Sundays and that feeling of struggle. We have, through the implementation of the Tap the Potential solution, we've supported our clients in eliminating hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. The pride and joy that comes from owning a business that's working around the sweet spot, and you have A players in place, there's so much pride and joy that comes from that. And a lot of times what we hear is, Dr. Sabrina, I know you're all about the 4-week vacation and taking time away from the business, but I love working in the business. And so I always tell our clients, you know what? We're working on creating a business that you love working in and you love being away from. It's the best of both worlds. You don't have to be there. You are at choice to be there. Through Profit First and the full implementation of the Tap the Potential solution, we've added millions of dollars in profit to our clients' businesses. We've helped our clients experience countless days of unplugged vacation. Marriages have improved. And I think the best one is when I get that feedback from clients that their kids are happy, their kids are smiling, they're on vacation with their kids, and their kids are expressing appreciation for mom or dad having more time to spend with them. And it's all those smiles on the kids' faces that's really why we do this. It's about you being present with those you love and your business not taking over your life. That's what this is all about. And so the Tap the Potential Better Business, Better Life program is for you if you're tired of struggling, you want to get off that treadmill, you have a growing established business, you're past the startup phase, and you're seeking strong accountability and direction as to which actions to take on your business to have the greatest impact. So that's where the Tap the Potential solution comes in, because we get you out of that place of working on this thing and that thing and never feeling like you're making progress. When you start with us in our Better Business, Better Life program, we're going to ask you about the wins you want to be celebrating a year from now. And those are really important because we're getting at what do you want to be experiencing in your life? And that starts to help you paint that vision that you want. And then we're going to design a business plan, an action plan based on the Tap the Potential solution that supports your life vision. So you have this action plan now that you can refer to weekly to choose what you're going to take action on. That's going to move you in that straight path towards your vision. And then you have us in the Tap the Potential team coaching you and guiding you from meeting to meeting to stay aligned with your vision and make those choices that are going to be those small steps forward that you take in that consistent direction that leads you to a business that gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And the best thing of all is it is sustainably profitable. That means that it can endure over time because you've built in systems that are strategic for profit in your business. And so we are a small group program. So that means that you come in, you work with the Tap the Potential team of strategists and myself in these small group settings. And it's a very fun, high energy, collaborative environment. And so it gets you away from that feeling of I'm alone, no one understands me. All of a sudden you have people around you who understand exactly what you're going through. And not only do we understand what you're going through, we know the steps to take you through to get you out of that experience, to get you to the other side. So if what I've been sharing here with you sounds like, yeah, this is what I want to do, then your next step is to book a call with us. And let me put this up on the screen for you. Just go to tapthepotential.com and you'll see at the very top of the page a big orange button that says book a call. Just click that. You'll get a link to Darren's calendar and he'll get on a call with you and he'll answer your questions about the Better Business, Better Life program. One of the biggest questions we get is what is the investment? So I want to talk with you a little bit about that because when you're looking at investing in a program like this, it's really about thinking through what is the impact that this is going to have on your life. And so our clients in the Better Business, Better Life program, when we ask them, what's been your return on investment through this process? One of the most common phrases we get is priceless. And the reason it's priceless is because, number one, we're putting a system in place to guarantee profitability in your business. We're helping you get paid appropriately as the owner, but we're also freeing up your time. But we're working comprehensively on all aspects of your business. So we're working on profit, we're putting systems in place, we're helping you hire that team of A players and grow their leadership so they can take more off your plate. We show you how to add value for your top clients so you can increase your prices and have that margin that you need to not only pay yourself appropriately, but also to be able to invest in coaching and training to grow yourself and the coaching and training that you need to grow your team of A players. So when a business doesn't pay attention to all of that, you stay in the survival trap because you never are able to invest and take those steps to learn and grow for yourself, much less be able to invest for your team. So this investment in our Better Business, Better Life program puts you on that path to being able to do all of those things. And that's why we hear back from our clients that the return on investment is priceless. But the other piece to be aware of is that these are life-changing business transformations that are taking place in your business. So right now, I want to extend to you the opportunity to come into our Better Business, Better Life program with our 6-month introductory offer. The investment for that is $15,250, and that's after applying some special incentives. So you'll definitely want to get on the phone with Darren, talk through your specific situation. We always like to make sure that this is a good investment for you. So he's going to walk you through identifying the profit potential in your business and making sure that it has that potential, because we don't want to put anyone in a situation where you can't recoup a minimum of a 3-to-1 return on investment. That's our criteria as we're evaluating if you're a good fit, and we're a good fit to serve you, is can we see that we could generate a 3-to-1 return on investment for you as a minimum? And if we do, then Darren will say, yes, this is a good fit. You should definitely consider joining us. The other thing that's included in your investment when you join with the 6-month introductory offer is my How to Hire the Best course. We want you to be able to have that team of A players that supports what you're trying to accomplish in the business. It's so much easier to move things forward when you have a couple of A players on your team who buy in to what you're doing. So when you get the How to Hire the Best course, I walk you through how to build your How to Hire the Best system into your business so that you have a steady pipeline of A players and you really position yourself as that employer of choice. So it makes hiring so much easier and it takes a lot of the stress out of hiring for you. So that's a $2,500 value that we are including in there. So again, if you're thinking, yes, I want to say yes to this, I'm not just investing in my business. When you say yes to this, you're really saying yes. You're investing in yourself. You're investing in your family. You're investing in the people who you care about because you're going to be much more present with them, and you're going to have a much higher quality of life through what you do with us in the Better Business, Better Life program. And one of the things that I want to share with you is Kathy Anissy's experience. Her experience just really resonates with me because I hear this a lot from business owners. When you make the investment and you come into our program, sometimes it's that feeling of this is my last ditch effort. I've tried everything and nothing's worked before. I've tried all these other coaching and training programs, nothing worked. And Kathy came in at a point where she'd been in business 10 years and she had really felt like she could just put her whole heart and soul into the business. And she was thinking, as she was making the investment to join the Better Business, Better Life program, if I don't move forward with this, what am I looking at on the other side? Is it going to be more of the same? And what if it is more of the same for 6 months? Or what if it gets worse? What is that going to be like for me? And she decided, this is my last shot. I'm doing this and I'm going all in. And boy, did she. She came in ready and super committed to get everything she possibly could out of our program to see if her business could survive and then thrive. And wow, like within 10 months time, she said the results were amazing. So within just 10 months with us, she experienced a 41% increase in revenue that quarter compared to the same quarter from the previous year. 41% increase in revenue. And when she started, their net profit was 7%. And in 10 months' time, we helped her grow it to 20% net profit. And she said, this is just the beginning. She said, honestly, I didn't think we would ever get here. And now, she said, I'm just so grateful because I can see where my business can go. I see the potential that's there to be tapped into it. And for her, she got excited thinking about all the people that they would now be able to serve. And beyond that, how her growing her business would allow her team members to grow too. So if you're like Kathy and you're thinking, I want to do something and I'm going to go all in and do it, this is your opportunity to join us in the Better Business, Better Life program. We really do pull out all the stops for our clients to help you succeed. We want you to succeed. We want you to have that business that gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And so if you're joining us in the Better Business, Better Life program, the next step is just to go to our main homepage, tapthepotential.com, and book a call with Darren. If you're thinking, boy, I'd like to join, but I have this concern or this question, I'm not sure right now is the time, go ahead and book that call and start establishing that relationship with Darren. We have people who have come into our program that have been in working relationship with Darren for 6, 9, 12 months as he's helped them move to the place where they're ready to come into the program. And so we nurture you. And that's what I mean. We really nurture you because we want you to succeed. So if you're thinking, boy, I wish I could do this, but I don't know this or that, just go ahead and get on the call with Darren and let him talk to you. And he's going to help you come up with a plan. We have payment plans. Darren is great at working with you to come up with a payment plan that works for your situation. So I hope that if this is right for you, that I will get to see you inside the program and really get to know you and support you in building that business that gives you your life back. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm so honored that you chose to spend and invest your valuable time here with me. And it's my highest hope that what I've shared with you today inspires you for what's really possible in your business. Bye for now.